Hannah Power, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, and it's nice.
It is nice.
Pub garden.
Lovely. Birthday on Monday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
In advance for Monday.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, we're going to talk about personal branding.
Yeah.
How you do it, how you avoid making some of the mistakes that you see. Really interested because I definitely see the value of it, but I see so many people trying. It just looks like they're trying so hard that it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
And I really want to get your take on what's the difference between doing it really well and achieving what people want to achieve from it, and like what's the difference between that and perhaps falling short from your kind of professional standpoint, having worked with lots of people on this.
Yeah, okay. So, if you think about personal branding as a concept in terms of, it's not a new concept, being somebody that has something to say and is seen as a leader in a space, right? It's not a new concept. It's become much more commonplace because of the internet and the growth of social media and the rise in content creation. And because of that, then, you know, lots of people then want to do it, right? They want to be seen as a leader in what they do. But traditionally, before the last sort of 5 years, it was very much about the person and who they are and what they have to say and what their thoughts are on things, and much less about the audience that they're serving and the content that they're creating. And it was very much the internet of me as opposed to the internet of us, essentially.
Yeah.
So a lot of people still carry on with that approach, right? But then what happened was this whole rise of this content creator happened when YouTube created this big movement of, you know, people creating content, and the rise of the reality star and all of these things where normal people were able to have an impact. And they were creators, right? They weren't people that were just writing stuff for the sake of being famous. They were creating content because they genuinely loved it and they genuinely wanted to teach an audience. And that's obviously where the internet has moved to. Whilst our our standards of what we want to consume have also risen, right? We're quite picky on what we want to consume.
Yeah, the quality of content, even 3 years ago, the quality of content that people put out, I think, has gone up so much.
It's crazy, even in the last year. So now what personal branding is about having a really strong message, having something you want to bring to the world, leading with more than just what you do, but why you do it, what you believe, being very focused on a particular audience, and connecting with them and creating for them. That's what the best people are doing, right? The people that are building brands from scratch. You've got kind of two ways to go about it. If somebody's already famous and then they start creating content and building a brand in a different way, they can often get followers because people are just interested in who they are. But if you're going for the from scratch personal branding, then the more that you serve, the more that you teach, the more that you inspire an audience, the better. But I think what happened last year and before really as well, not just because of COVID, but people were panicking. They were going, oh, I've got to put stuff online, I've got to be doing this. And it created two categories on the internet. The because I get tos and the because I have tos. That's what I call them.
LinkedIn got really busy.
Yes.
Really, really busy.
But it got busy with the because I have tos, not the because I get tos. So the because I get to people are the ones that are like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, I can connect with my audience in a different way, and I can do all of these things, and I can build a brand, and I can work from anywhere, and I can build my business through creating. And then you get the because I have tos who go, oh, this is so annoying. Now I've got to do this. Now I've got to put this out there. The because I have tos are the ones that tend to be creating the content that's not that good, right? Because what sits in between those two people is one has got passion and interest and a desire to learn and create amazing content, and the other one's doing it because they have to. So they're not going to keep going on content courses and keep learning about all the new tips and techniques that you can use to create good content. So I think it comes down to the fact that for a while, people that were putting stuff on the internet were doing it because they loved it and they wanted to. And then a couple of years ago, it started the movement of the because I have to people, and that's where a lot of the stuff is coming that it's not that's not that good.
I do think with content you can tell if someone's been tasked to do it or thinks they have to do it. It's never as good as, you know, I think about the people that I follow and respect online, or like YouTube channels that I watch or people that I follow, and they've all got something that they would have done it anyway. it's not been done necessarily to create, or like the content at the core hasn't been done to create a personal brand or a brand or whatever. They've just done it because they love doing it.
Yeah.
I think you can definitely tell. When you're working with people on that point, do you ever have to, not necessarily turn people away, but almost step them back a little bit if they're going, I just want to, grow my LinkedIn base, I want to get more leads on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa. Is that a common thing?
Yeah, I mean, I was very clear when I first started the kind of brands that I wanted to build. Obviously, everyone's got a different approach. My kind of brands that I wanted to build were very much about people who were very passionate about what they had to say and very passionate about getting their message to their audience. Doesn't mean they were just entrepreneurs. One of my first clients was, he was a Barclays, a senior person at Barclays, and he was really passionate about data and what's happening with our data, essentially.
Yeah.
But he was very focused on getting that message out there because he wanted his audience to hear it. So I was always very clear that what I did wasn't about lead generation. I know that that's obviously a big reason that people do personal branding, and obviously generating leads is a great byproduct of personal branding. But in my opinion, if it's the sole reason, it's rarely successful. And my business has done lead generation alongside personal branding with different levels of success. For some clients, we have huge levels of success with the lead generation aspect because the content that we're putting out and the person behind the brand genuinely really is passionate about what they say. They're researching, they're reading books, they're creating new ideas. And then other people are going, I'll just share this week because I can't find anything else. I'm too busy. I'm too busy is the biggest reason that people say, I don't have time. And I say to people, if you don't have time, brilliant. One more person off the internet. One more person creating crap that the rest of us have got to scroll through. Like if you don't want to do it, don't do it. There are other strategies to be successful. If you're not genuinely passionate about getting your message out there and teaching your audience, just don't bother. Yeah. Because there are so many people that are.
I like that. Yeah,
there are so many people that are. There are so many ads that are being directed at us. All these platforms are designed in a much cleverer way than all of us can create content to even keep up with. So if you're not interested, if you aren't excited about it, if you don't want to do it, then don't.
Yep.
So I don't spend any. Sometimes I'll get on a call with someone and they'll say, convince me, pitch me, and I go, oh God, no, thank you. No, I'm not for you. When you're not for me, and I'm not for you.
Yeah.
So that's my approach. But there are other personal branding specialists, whatever you want to call it, who take a different approach, and maybe they are more focused on that direct lead generation. But for me, it shouldn't be about that. I don't actually really like the term personal branding. I'd rather call it something else.
I was going to say, but it probably wouldn't have been a great introduction.
No. I agree. Like I don't like the term, but it's just that is what it's known as.
I think the only reason I'm going to try and articulate why I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it goes back to that point around the content that I enjoy is always put out by someone who loves producing that content.
Yeah.
It's not people who have decided they need to build a brand. Mm-hmm. So as soon as you start calling it personal branding, to me it takes away from that whole point.
Yeah.
And it's surely, if you've got something interesting to say and you're really passionate about it, it will kind of happen. But then you're coming in and making it more effective and work harder, or...
Yeah, I think...
But it does make me go, oh.
I agree. I actually do agree. I don't like the term. I always say, if there was another term, I would use it. It's very difficult. Like, I don't know what else there is.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. But yes, I think that the word personal branding sounds like it's a very controlled activity to achieve a particular outcome, which is essentially sort of fame or something for yourself, as opposed to, as you say, being that content creator who wants to share because they want to. I think the kind of people that I work with, slightly different to the people that are natural content creators. If people love creating content and they're naturally doing it, they might come to us for some of our services like the visual branding and the website side, but they wouldn't come to us to help them learn how to create content. Where I come in is people that are very passionate about their message and very skilled at what they do and expert in what they do, but they don't know how to take that from here to here.
Got ya. So they've got the building blocks.
Yeah, they've got the passion, they've got the expertise, they've got the time, they've got all of those things. But then obviously it's like, I've got all of this. How do I now translate that into a message on the internet? Because it's so I think, as a whole, there is a lot of very high quality stuff out there. I mean, there are some incredible content creators out there who are able to teach you something in a few lines. You know, like if you look on Twitter, for example, there's this guy that I follow called Jack Butcher on Twitter, and I just think his content is so cool, the way that he teaches you stuff in like a sentence. So it means like anything, if you want to be good at it, you need to learn how to do it. And I think because it's social media and because it didn't used to be like that, people don't necessarily think they need to invest that time and that money in doing that.
Anyone can post anything, can't they?
Well, yeah.
But like making it work is a different matter. What about people who say, oh, I haven't really got anything interesting to say, it's not for me because there's just nothing I can say? What do you say to people who use that as a reason? Because there's got to be something interesting in everything, right?
Well, yeah. If they've got nothing to say and they've got no motivation to do it, then I say, well, don't. do something else. I really do. Like, I don't think everybody should try and go and have a brand. Like, I really, really don't. I think there are a lot of people that should. But I think, I saw a stat recently, a few months ago, that said there's only 1% of the internet are creators and only 9% engage, and the rest just watch. So we think it's really busy. I don't know if that is the right stat, but I have heard
Sounds likely though. So I could believe that.
If only 1% are posting and it's this busy anyway, then I don't think we need like that many more people. But we do need better quality stuff. We need better content. I think we need more niched content. I think there's a lot of very general. If we use digital marketing as an example, there's a lot of very general digital marketing knowledge. But is there people that you can follow that are focused on digital marketing for pubs or digital marketing for beers, or do you know what I mean? I think the more niche that we get, the better the content's going to get, and the more we're going to see the rise of like the micro creator, the micro niche. I think that's what's really exciting about where it's going. But if people don't have anything to say, well, don't do it. Or
figure that bit out first, right?
Or a lot of the time, Brits more than like some other like nations, like Americans are more confident, I guess.
You were going to say America.
I was, but Brits often think they don't have anything to say until you sit down with them and then actually ask them a couple of questions, and then you realise that you do. But a lot of the time, it's just a confidence thing that people think that they don't have anything to say because they don't think anybody would want to listen. But they actually have a load of stuff in their mind that if they brought out there would be really valuable.
Definitely. I think do you think people are scared of it a little bit as well? Like they're scared of getting ripped in the comments, or they're scared of what people are going to think, or they're kind of just a little bit. But actually, because I thought so many people have got interesting stories and interesting could really, like you say, add a bit of value or entertainment or help people. But they're just worried about putting that in the public domain or putting their foot out a little bit, and
which is fair enough. I mean, it is like uncomfortable. Like, for example, when I go on like a date from like a dating app or whatever, I find it like cringe that they could have watched loads of my videos or something on YouTube or whatever beforehand. Like that.
Has that happened?
Yeah, it happens like all the time, and it does make me really feel uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, that's so cringe and embarrassing.
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
And same like with your friends and stuff. Like usually your friends, right, aren't your target audience, right? Your friends and your family don't tend to be your target audience. So yes, you could get held back by what they're going to say and all of those kinds of things, or you can just focus on the fact that no one really has any time to think about anyone else because they're so busy thinking about themselves and their own shit that they don't need to really think about you.
I think I did a episode ages ago with a video guy called Phil Nottingham. And he was saying, like, the worst that's going to happen is no one's going to watch it. Like, if it's crap, no one will watch it. Like that's a far more likely outcome.
Yeah, and loads of content that I've created.
Hopefully people will watch this.
Well, yeah, hopefully. But even if it's only a couple of people do, who cares? You know, we've enjoyed it, and no, hopefully it is. But you're right. The worst thing is that people aren't going to watch it. Yeah, some people will say some things, but you probably won't even know that they're saying it. And when people put stuff online, it tends to, on platforms like LinkedIn, obviously there's a lot more like anonymous trolling. Places like LinkedIn, places like YouTube, you get a lot more like anonymous trolling. Platforms like LinkedIn, if anyone trolls you on there, they just damage their own. Well, yeah, and also they just make themselves look.
Yeah.
All of these things that we fear are completely legit. The reality is, once you get over those things, they are not really something to really think about because no one's really got any time. And actually, most people actually are very impressed by people that are putting stuff out online, the people that are taking the time to do it and being brave and all of those things. Most people find it really cool. They think it's a great thing to do.
And if it doesn't, like, whatever. I remember putting in the first sneeze.
Was that a sneeze?
I think it might.
Or a dog bark.
Or a death. Putting the first episode of this out, it's like, oh no, like what? It's like 20 people watched it. Mm-hmm. A few people commented on it. Feedback was good. Did another one, a little bit more, and it's not as big a deal as people think.
No, it's not. Podcasting is a really good, I think there's this feeling of like, oh, if I'm going to build a personal brand, I've got to record videos.
Yeah.
There's loads of ways that you can put content out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So podcast is, I think, a great way to do it that feels, it's about what feels right for you and gets your message out there
Finding
and just
the
gets
thing
you
that you
doing
enjoy
it.
as well, right?
Yeah, and by doing, you learn more about yourself. By writing or recording, whatever you're doing, you learn more about, you get better at explaining things, you get better at connecting with your clients and all of these things. So the art of doing it is almost as valuable as actually the output itself, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only reason I do this really is because it's great fun. Like, it's great it's get a load of clips for LinkedIn, it's good for business, it's it's good, but really I started it because I enjoy it, and I keep going because I enjoy it, and I think that hopefully comes across a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit better as a result of that.
Yeah. All content, I think, all content that's created without a direct result in mind is always better. Like if you're creating content because you think, oh, people are going to click on this, or this is going to get me leads, that tends to be the stuff that is the least successful.
It's a classic creativity thing, isn't it? Like if you put a bunch of people in a room and tell them to come up with some ideas, that's different to a bunch of people constantly just, middle of the night come up with an idea, out in the car come up with an idea. Like you can't tell people to go and sit down and come up with a great idea.
Yeah.
It has to evolve over time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you should take a look at my personal brand, Hannah.
Okay.
Let me get my laptop.
Okay.
Let me get my laptop.
Get your laptop.
On this laptop is my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
I'm really nervous but interested in what you think. Like, I know it's not always about LinkedIn, is it? Mm-hmm. So it's a bit like, it shouldn't always just be LinkedIn, but
no, it's certainly not always about LinkedIn.
As a B2B marketer, if you like, LinkedIn is kind of where it's at, I would have thought, for me. Yeah,
I mean, it depends. Have you ever asked your audience? I mean, who would be your audience for your personal brand?
Well, I would link that audience with the business audience.
Okay, so who is it?
In-house marketers, in-house e-commerce managers, people like that.
Okay, and what is it that you do for them?
We run paid media activity, so campaigns basically.
So that they don't. So they don't have to. They don't have to. Right. Okay. Cool. So so first of all, obviously.
For context, I've put zero thought into my personal brand. I do a little bit of stuff on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But I'd say very little effort.
Okay.
But go for it.
Okay.
Both
so I mean, the first thing I would say is photo's good.
Thank you.
Cover image is good. Like, there's not a lot on it, but there's different ways, obviously, with personal branding. So your personal brand isn't your business. Do you see what I mean? So some people's personal brand is their business.
I guess as a business owner, I just naturally link the two things up, but should I stop?
Yes, but think of it like this. Like your business isn't called like johnquinton.com. Do you see what I mean?
This is very true.
So your personal brand, so that means that your LinkedIn profile will be naturally slightly different to somebody whose brand is their business. So if I showed you,
it's not the company page, is it?
No. So if I showed you, I'm just going to show one of my clients whose profile I like, but his business is his personal brand is his business, so his profile immediately looks different because of that.
Do you know what? That's a really good point, because I've always just assumed that any effort I put on LinkedIn is about helping the business because it's my business.
So
I'm not John Quinton the consultant, am I?
So I see it slightly differently, where I believe that if your brand is not your business, this is right. Let me just show you this one. So this is Jord, who basically he's not going to come up as easily for you, is he? Because he's not, there we go, because he's not a connection. So George's brand is his business, which means that his profile is obviously created in a slightly different way because it's about, he directly supports people, whereas you're not directly supporting people.
True.
You support people through your business. So just in that in itself, you've got two different approaches here. So that's the first thing to think about, is whether your brand is your business. And if it is, your brand is your business, it's much easier to build your personal brand because they're the same thing. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So your message is always the same. You're not actually trying to be two people.
Yeah.
Because a personal brand is different. So for example, you've got, obviously he's got this like helping these people to do this. He's a specialist. His profile is, his cover image is more about his brand. His business is called hisname.com.
Yeah.
And all of those kinds of things. Whereas for you, your brand is not your business. Your brand is it's slightly different.
Yeah.
It's not just about, you're not, for example, you're not doing the ad, well, you might be doing some of the ads, but you've got someone, I'm guessing, in your team that does your ads, for example.
Yeah. Like
so your profile is immediately going to be different. However,
I
would say
his cover
that
picture, like the surfing thing.
Yeah. So because of that, because it's his brand, he shares a lot more about himself as a person and the things that he's passionate about in his story. So George's story, for example, is he did build a big agency up. He's Dutch. He lives in Bali.
Yeah.
He experienced quite a lot of burnout, closed it down, and now supports people just through his personal brand as a coach.
Yeah.
And he's all about lifestyle and all of those things. So all of those elements are a part of his brand more than it might be for you. Because do you see what I mean? Because your business is different.
Yep.
However, I believe that if you run an agency, for example, your personal brand should support your clients often before they're ready for the agency.
Okay.
So almost see it as, I hate the word funnel, but see it as a funnel into, so let's say your personal brand supported.
Like pre. Yeah.
So if your agency is focused on generating leads and supporting people in e-commerce, right? Your personal brand might be supporting those people from an earlier stage. Okay. So that you could build them up and then they could move into the agency.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but that's a really clear definition, isn't it? That's going, first off, your first bit of advice is split the two out.
Yeah.
So what I want to achieve for myself is very different to what I want to achieve for the business.
Yeah.
But where's the link? Join the dots.
Because realistically, your audience, as you said, is like, e-commerce managers and things like that. Are you going to be creating content that they're going to be clicking on? Is that who you want to be creating content for? Or would you rather teach people? Often the personal brand is the teacher and then the business is the doer.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
And by selflessly serving and teaching people through your personal brand, obviously shows who you are and shows that what you know without you directly trying to teach just to sell. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So the first thing I'd say is this is obviously like very general, right? It doesn't really explain what you do. Digital marketing consultant is probably one of the most general terms on the internet. So I would make this more of an offer statement or a core message, whatever you want to call it, helping X do X so that X happens. Then having the founder part as a separation, and then having something else about you that shows that you're into motorbike enthusiast or something like that to add a bit of like personality to your profile.
Because that headline was a good like subheading, profile headline. Yeah. It's the first thing people see, right?
Yeah, and it's just very general, right?
Boring,
digital marketing. And it doesn't at all, in any part on here, it doesn't say anything to do with the niche that you serve. You could be doing any kind of digital marketing for any kind of company of any kind of size in any kind of industry.
Yeah.
So it's about making sure that what they see first is relevant and showing what you want them to see. And you can actually put quite a lot in your profile up here. Yeah. They've also got new features that you can do you might have seen them, like summaries of what you talk about.
Oh yeah.
So it could be like you could write talks about digital marketing, paid ads or whatever, so people can get a feel of what actually they're going to get when they engage with you. Yeah. So that's that. If I scroll down here, you haven't got your creator mode, so if you turn that to on, you'll get more options of stuff that you can do on your profile. It's a new kind of thing. Here we go. So then come into your about. Now this is
just before you.
It's I, right? I do this. I love this. It's not who are you and how can I help you? Yeah. So something like, many e-commerce managers struggle with X, X, and X. So I created Overdrive Digital because of these reasons. So a little intro of what it is that you do. A little bit of context as, the way that you see the world. Something I believe that this, or my mission is this, or something that brings some big picture in together.
It is an about me.
Yeah,
section,
something about your credibility.
That
you could come in, so you've got that on there, but maybe some actual more tangible things about your industry.
But I guess I've written that as an about me, not a why bother?
Well, yeah, but that's
caring
obviously,
about.
although it is called an about, you're missing out on that opportunity by writing to your audience in a different way about how you can help them. This is the thing. This is the main change that's happened with the personal brand. Is it's not about you, it's about your audience. So your profile should really be about your audience, not about you. So that's what I would say here. I mean, it's obviously it is what it is that you do, but you've said here, I run Overdrive, a special agency that helps our clients get better business outcomes from paid search and paid social.
Which is true.
I'm not saying it's not true, but there's probably not one agency that wouldn't say that they help their clients get better business outcomes. And then
No, you're absolutely right.
So it's very, very general. What stands out about what you do? What's unique about your approach? This is your opportunity. This is like, imagine your whole website and all of that stuff that you put into that. This is your opportunity to put a summary of that into here in a way that someone can go, oh, John does things a little bit different.
Because when you read it back, it's like, it's just, you're right.
And also talking about, I also run a podcast that does this, just putting some context in it so people can get to know you a little bit more, because people do look, if somebody says like, oh, you should meet, someone will say to me, you should talk to this guy about helping you with this. I will look them up on LinkedIn and see what they look like. So, and then activity, I'll have to see, I have to click this open.
It might load up in a minute, I'm not going to say anything. I'm interested to see.
You've got no featured content, so you need to add some featured content in. So that's have you seen how you do that?
No, but I'm going to go and look it up.
Well, I can send you a guide on how to do all of this, but you can feature the stuff that you want to be along the top of your page.
Okay. That was just me trying to be funny at it.
If I open Tim's profile, will be good. Okay, so if we see articles, so no articles since 2015. So articles don't often get that much engagement, but they have quite a long lifespan, so they're good for thought leadership.
Okay.
So it's worth creating.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I did a few ages ago, as you can see.
Yeah, very long time ago. 2015.
Yeah, with a really terrible stock image. But I just no one's really engaging with them,
Yeah, but you don't. The thing is that you don't know what people are. Not everybody engagement that you can see is very different. Well, I think eventually, they will give us much more data on how long people are actually reading things and all of that stuff on. Because obviously they do that on.
Because we talk to sales leads. I know we're not talking about sales leads.
Yeah.
But we talk to. I have a sales call, and they're like, "Oh, I've been, following your stuff on LinkedIn for 2 years, or I've been watching this for 2 years." And you're like, I had no idea. Yeah,
people don't always engage. People always don't like and comment. But if you think about when you do paid social, you can see, X number of people watched your video for 40 seconds or whatever. I think they'll give us more information eventually about what people can see on.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
How much time people are spending on your own profile. So that's articles.
Some more articles.
I think some more articles, but try not to keep them. Try to make them a little bit more targeted at your audience.
Yeah.
And how you can help that audience to achieve their goals or move away from their challenges, just like any type of marketing. Posts, obviously, these are the ones that get more engagement.
Yeah. 7 likes.
Yeah, 7 likes, 436 views. I think these kind of.
It was a bit of a cynical.
I like them. We're actually doing our Powerful Leader social at the moment and I like these sort of piss-taking posts.
I don't want to be negative about stuff, but I also want to.
I think keeping it light.
It was on my mind. Chuck it out.
Yeah, so I think it's a good idea. I think having a posting strategy is a good plan of what you're going to post and when. So if you're going to do, a day where you post something industry related, another day where you're going to post in clips from your podcast or whatever, so that there is a plan that you follow consistently.
Yeah.
Something, again, a lot of people don't do. They go, they put in their calendar, I'm going to spend 15 minutes on LinkedIn, and then they don't, right? Whereas if you have a plan, you can kind of schedule things and think
Yeah.
about what you're going to create. Obviously, there's not a lot of consistency here, so that goes from
True.
5 hours ago to 3 weeks ago, which means that you're not going to be basically keeping the algorithm nice and like warmed up.
So do you think that is important?
Yeah, I do.
Should that be one a day? Should it be 2 a week? Should it be, or does it not matter how much, but it matters that you're doing like regular,
I mean, I
consistent
think
stuff?
in terms of for what you do, I think one a day is a good idea.
Yeah.
I think there's a really good LinkedIn analytics app called Shield.
Okay.
Actually, the founder is really good on LinkedIn as well. I can't remember his name, but it's I think it's like 130 quid for the year, and it gives you
That
some really
sounds
good
amazing.
insights into what works and what doesn't work, and gives you a
That's
general
a great tip.
a general Shield app. It's called .ai or something.
Great.
But I think there's, I think your podcasts are cool. I think you should be doing more of that, chopping things down, putting some writing around it so people know what they're getting.
Yeah.
People need to know what they're getting. That's the thing, because we're so time poor.
Yeah.
People need to know, yes, it's worth investing my time on this.
Yeah.
So obviously this posted really well.
It did okay.
Well, yeah, that is pretty good, seeing as you're not like that active.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that's what I would suggest. I don't know if that's of any help at all, but that's just
Definitely.
a sprinkling of ideas.
It's really interesting getting you to just look at it step by step, and so many things within that I haven't thought about. So absolutely so useful, and I'm sure people watching it will
The last
find
thing
it.
is, I would say, is that when you go down to
go.
your skills and endorsements,
Here we
just
go.
last two things, your skills is SEO and link building. It's not paid ads. So you can update this and add skills in, and then get people to click on them, and you can change them yourself. So
That's
you
a
can
really good
change
point.
this to paid ads or whatever. Whether people look at it, I don't know, but you have got 11 pending endorsements here of people that have endorsed you for all
That
of
I've
these
just-
things
Jesus.
that you might rather have out on your profile. So you've got here online advertising and things like that.
Oh, it's like a dusty wreck, this profile,
And
isn't it?
then recommendations, 5 is pretty good, but no harm in asking clients when you finish with them to put something in there, and also giving more to clients. You've got a recommendation request here. Someone's asked if you could write one for them.
Oh, that's my wife,
Oh, right, okay.
and I've ignored it.
So, but I would just, go all the way down it and try and bring some more personality and realness to
life.
it. Bit of life to
Bit
it.
of life.
But obviously that's just LinkedIn, and that's just that's just the vehicle for the brand, right? The
Yeah.
brand sits much more broadly than just your LinkedIn profile, but that's just the delivery of your profile,
Awesome.
your message.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So where should people go to find out a little bit more about you and your business? You've got a podcast, you've got all of that.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that's the
plenty of
thing.
content.
There's lots of things. I guess the best place to go probably just to my website, which is hannahpower.co.uk or hannahpower.com, my new URL we're moving across.
Yeah.
That's probably the best place, where there's different assessments and things you can take in terms of assessing your brand and doing a little bit of an audit on it. So that's where I would suggest people go.
Awesome. Well, look, thank you very much,
Thank you. Nice warm beer now.
and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. You
Thanks
too.
for watching. Sweet.